O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Greetings, conscious entrepreneurs. You now can take the Mind of an Entrepreneur show wherever you go. I'm now available on Spotify. Just search Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajdah House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. As we renovate and restore the former home of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have recycled the old copper gutters and downspouts and created a 1-ounce 39mm coin made of 100% pure copper. Each coin is professionally graded and has its own barcode and registration number. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahhouse.com.
You belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people. Yes, sir. You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself. Yes, sir. There will be a great separation. Yes, sir. So I said, it is on now.
The college is meant to prepare you for your future. That the time dictates that if we don't do something for ourselves as a people, we will be destroyed. And the aim of the enemy right now is to take us out.
We have God with us. We have Him as our guide. Yes, sir. We don't have to stand around here and ask the question, what must be done? Yes, sir. Let's go and do something. Yes, sir. We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. We must get up. Yes, sir. And go to work.
Do you know what real joy is in life? Visioning something and bringing it into reality. That's real joy. Do you know what the next step in joy is? Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity.
Tonight, you need to fasten your seatbelts. We're going to hear from some of the greatest minds in the world. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of trusting our future and the future of our children into the hands of those who don't love us. I believe we need to revitalize black leadership.
Think for a moment about a movie scene, one that really moved you, a movie that you really felt deeply, really felt emotionally. Think about all your favorite movies, all the top movies and top actors. In the great movies, those who really connect with you emotionally, the movies that really move you. The actors are not acting. The actors become the character. The great actors don't need to act because they become the character they are playing.
That's exactly what you need to do. If you want to have great success and live a great life, you have to become someone else. You have to become someone nobody thought you could be, not even you. You have to leave the little mind mentality you grew up with. You have to drop the negativity you have towards successful people. Drop the negativity you have towards hard work, and drop the negativity you have towards sacrifice. You must rise into this new person. You will not stop until you become everything you ever dreamed of, and so much more. That kind of person doesn't procrastinate. They just do. They just dive in head first. They learn the lessons. They apply the lessons and turn them into blessings. That type of person doesn't stop at failure. They don't stop at any number of setbacks. They find solutions. They are always learning, listening, and growing. And they are certainly never stopping. Rest if you must. Don't you dare stop. That type of person doesn't listen to others' opinions unless they are valuable. Listen, sometimes you have to take on criticism and apply it. You must be smart and strong enough to ignore the haters and ignore the negativity that is not valuable. Some people just hate for no reason. Focus all your energy on your end goal. That type of person makes priorities. They choose to learn over party. They choose to work out over sleep in. They choose to give time to things that take them closer to their goals, not further away. That type of person is honest. They are honest with themselves and where they are in life, and take responsibility for closing the gap. They are honest with others and always live and act with integrity, knowing you can never be successful living a lie or living your life trying to be someone else.
I know you're tired, but what if you could give more? I know they don't believe in you, but what if you believed in you? Who could you become if you started to back yourself?
No, it's not easy being great. It's pretty straightforward, but it's never easy. You sacrifice, you take responsibility, you prioritize, you follow your gut, you keep going, and you work your guts out. That's it. Simple principles that only those with true character live by. Do you have character? And if you have it, what are you going to do about it? You can develop that strength. You can form new habits.
If you don't like where you are, do something about it. Don't complain about it if you're not willing to work for it. Step by step, you can become someone no one thought you would be, not even you. Step by step, you can grow. Grow into someone who makes a difference. Grow into someone who sets the example. Grow into someone who inspires through action, through example, through undeniable results.
I know you can only see darkness, but I need you to believe in the light. I know you're tired, but what if you could dig deeper inside? What if you could find more? I know you have more. I know you are greater than this. Don't you dare waste this life. You can become anyone. Grow into that person. Grow through consistency. Grow through action.
If you don't like where you are, do something about it. Don't complain about it if you aren't willing to work for it.
You will show them. You will show them through action, through hard work and dedication, through belief and sacrifice, through heart and courage.
Step by step, you can become someone no one thought you would be. Not even you.
Don't you get it? This world needs you. People that you know need you. People you've never even met need you. They need you to rise. They need you to rise so they can rise. They need you to fight so they have fight. They need you to become someone so they can be someone. You will show the world. You will show the world through your example. You will become someone nobody thought you could.
Become that person. Be that person.
All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to all my conscious entrepreneurs out there. We starting off this show talking about, which you all know we talk about all the time on the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, is learning to become what it is that you want to manifest. And we talked about a technique of manifestation where you visualize and you emotionalize. And as a certified emotional intelligence coach, I've been teaching you all to emotionalize and then chase the emotion. And then next thing you know, you'll begin to materialize the concepts, the ideas. So we talk about that a lot on Thursday nights. For those of you who are just now tuning in, this is the Mind of an Entrepreneur show. And I do a series called the Mo Today series on Black Muslim businesses. And the idea here is to introduce you to the emerging market that is Black Muslim businesses, that is responding to an instruction given to us by our eternal leader, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, where he told us that we must get up and do something for ourselves. Not only did he tell us to get up and do something for ourselves, he gave us a blueprint, right? He threw us an alley-oop. He said, this is how you do it. Here's an example. And so now we just have to be about the business of removing the residue of the Willie Lynch mind, the conquered mind, and step into the knowledge of self and use that energy to get us closer to Almighty God Allah. And he told us who that is too. And move ourselves into a space where we start to do for self. We start to drop our biases against other successful people and say, you know what? I'm going to support that sister. I'm going to support that brother. So any of you all who know me know that one of my personal life goals is to be an asset to each and every person that I come in contact with. So if you know me casually, if you know me personally, if you know me professionally, you know that I'm always trying to do what I can to be an asset to any and everybody. And I'm always supporting other entrepreneurs. And so that's kind of the crux of this show. And then the impetus for the series on Black Muslim businesses. So we encourage you to go out there, claim your businesses. We just upgraded the site so that we can get ready to put some advertisers on there. We're going to start uploading this show there, so you'll be able to see that. And so one of the sisters that is in our circle, she is a person that I just think everybody should know. She has a very powerful story. She has an interesting energy that I think you all will find attractive and trusting. And so I want to bring her on. She's an attorney. She's going to tell you about her background. Sister Yolanda Muhammad. She's somebody that I've known for quite a while. Assalamu alaikum, my sister.
Walaikum salam, Sister Sajdah. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. It's a welcome change to be calling you Sister Sajdah. But you know, back in the day, we like, ask Sister Wendy, Sister Wendy, Sister Wendy, as you were my processing teacher. And so we didn't know, when we first came in back in them days, we didn't know how to talk to one another. So it has evolved full circle that now I was able to call you what you were, but what you evolved into, I'm able to reference you by that also. So I'm thankful to know you.
Sister Yolanda, you all bless me so much. You all have been blessing me since those days. And I say that because not only is it that, I'll say it like this. I was given that assignment by Allah as a blessing. To begin the practice of orienting people to Him. And I continue that throughout my life, even as a professional. And you all bless me not only by your success, your steadfastness, but also just by being who you are. I can't tell you, Sister Yolanda, if I move around the city, the country, how many women come up to me and say,
you were my processing teacher.
Praise be to Allah.
So we had some big classes back in those days.
Yes,
so.
yes. Super size.
Supersize. Oh yeah.
Yes, definitely.
To Allah, I'm so excited to talk to you. It's unfortunate that it's on the eve of the loss of our sister, attorney, Dr. Minister Ava, star of the universe, Minister Ava Muhammad. And I just wanted to lead off and ask you, because for me, I remember like it was yesterday as a young 22, 23-year-old Muslim running around the mosque, that looking at her as a professional Muslim woman was so motivating. And I was always so excited to see her and just kind of watch how she navigated, because we didn't really have a lot of examples, you know. And so I just want to know how she impacted you as an attorney.
Well, I want to say how I think about that word attorney. We're defining it now. And when I look into it, the Black woman is a natural attorney. And particularly the Black woman in America, because we've been defending our nation for over 400 years. So the thing that Sister Ava, two things that guided me. When I didn't know of her ministry, I was in a class or a meeting with the attorneys in the Nation of Islam, and I was fresh out of law school. And she said, we have to teach the believers to be professional. Do not allow people to make you practice law in the hallway of Muhammad University. And I thought, what? But then I thought about it, because we are so insular and territorial in our little colonies, we don't really know how to engage one another professionally in a manner that gives the person respect and their total undivided attention. And it gives you the opportunity to think without the security feature that happens when you're in a crowd. When she said that, and the more I thought about it over the years, it was really mind-blowing. And our people don't go to, you know, we go to meetings with the Caucasian people or the European people, and we'll sit in their office and we'll be respectful and we'll wear our best clothes downtown. But for our own, we're just not accustomed to it because we're coming up out of slavery. So that was revolutionary. In my more adult years in the Nation of Islam, she was an inspiration to me because she's helping me to get into my feminine side and to master those challenges. So whenever I'm in different arenas, I can see this arena is not successful because it's missing the power of the original woman. When I come into those arenas, two things are going to happen. For my own people, I'm going to be embraced, or for like-minded righteous people, I'm going to be embraced. But if I am operating in my own energy and my own nature, I'm also going to be opposed. And to walk in an environment and know that that is coming is very powerful. Very powerful. So I thank her for that over and over and over. And her words are like the ministers in that as you grow, they regenerate and become more and more powerful.
Yeah, they're like a seed that just keeps germinating. It's interesting that you talked about that male female thing. I take a lot of flack from people when I start talking about the male female thing, and I have the conversation, Sister Yolanda, because from the time that I started this work, The Mind of an Entrepreneur, the blog, the book, between my analytics have fluctuated between 60 to 70% Black males. And a lot of people would say, well, why is that? Even when I was on syndicated radio, the majority of my people were Black males. And so I found it interesting that oftentimes as women, we don't even know what behaviors make us masculine.
Absolutely.
And so we think, well, if I talk like this and if I do all this stuff and I have the body language, I'm feminine. Why da da da? But it's not that. It's your language. It's how you're teaching, and it's what you do and the actions you take. And here's one that a lot of people don't like. And tell me what you think about this. You know, as Lost Found Women, because of Willie Lynch, we were designed to compete against one another.
Correct.
So when we get up in the morning and put this on, we're not putting it on because we want our man to think we look good. We putting it on because we want to stun on the other sisters. We want to put it on because we want to look better than them. We want to have on the best dress, or she don't look good as me, or she ain't got it going on like me. And so that level of competition produces a certain level of testosterone.
Absolutely. Continual testosterone all day.
That's right. It continues to release it. And so I always tell women that when you're in environments like where, you're an attorney, you're out here, there's some things we got to do that's masculine. I'm doing business, I'm negotiating. I always try to make sure I have a space and time where I move into a creative space so I can go back to nature. How have you used the teachings, and what techniques do you use to give yourself that feminine balance back in a world that really likes us to be extra masculine?
Sure. That is an excellent question, Sister Sajdah. And really, femininity in this world, particularly in the Western society, is based on body type and shape. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us the most powerful weapon when he covered us. Because any atmosphere or an environment I walk into covered, I'm already the mental giant. Mm-hmm. Because there is no framework to understand what you're looking at.
Right.
So when you look at a brother in a suit, there's a framework for that, a black man in a suit or a man in a suit. But when you see a woman covered in the way that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us something all new, he didn't give us the hijab. He gave us a code based on where we are. So when I walk into court, people look at me, they try to figure out who I am, and often they never think I'm the attorney. Mm. Our own people don't think I'm an attorney, and the other people don't think I'm an attorney, because every attorney in here looks the same. A short skirt, it's a dark color, your goodies out, red lipstick, it's the full, and it's a repeat cookie cutter kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So when I walk in dressed as he has taught us to be dressed, thinking as he has taught us to be thinking, I can see it. Are you caught up? As you're focusing on what I look like, I'm taking care of my business.
Right.
So I'm already ahead of you.
Right.
And the other thing that he gave us is he gave us a dress code, not to stunt, although we do, but I'm a weapon to clear up the minds of people. And from how I look, then it becomes, because you got to be courageous to look like we look, right? You got to be courageous not to fall in line and show all your behind, because women, we want to please men. And if a man doesn't have another standard, he wants that, right? So you have to be courageous to go into any environment as we are. But when you have that courage, that testosterone that we had where we would try to stun on other women, now that courage keeps our mind focused on the God. Mm-hmm. And when you exude that kind of energy, you attract the black man to you.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. It's interesting because when I started doing a lot of work internationally and keeping in line with just what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, I found it interesting because here in the United States, we have certain freedoms and certain things that we do, and we dare somebody to say something to us.
Right.
You find yourself in other countries trying to sit down on the other side of a negotiation table with your goodies out, or presenting yourself in a certain way. Number one, the chances of you getting in front of some checks are 0 to none. Number two, the rules of how maybe people can talk to you and what they can do to you and what they can say aren't there. Because in the States, you could say, well, I'm gonna file a slander lawsuit or a defamation of character or sexual harassment. And in many other countries, they don't have that.
Not at all.
Yes.
And especially not for women.
That's right. And so a lot of people don't realize that when you start to move around the world, you have to figure out who you are and how you're going to do it, whether it's with temperature changes or whatever, but you got to figure it out. And it's a blessing to have it, because otherwise you be in some tough situations. And I know for me as a developer and then also working in healthcare, it's male, very male dominated and very chauvinist. And not that the dressing, your attire makes it go away, but I think it gives you a certain vibration of safety.
Absolutely.
That adjusts how you present and you come off.
My last semester of law school, we were preparing to go to Egypt we're going to do it at the University of Cairo. Mm-hmm. And the brother that was our shepherd or chaperone, he said to me, and then I had some counterparts that going to help me care for my son, my oldest son, Samad. He said, you can't take message to the Black man with you, because these people will look at that differently than you if you had it here. Because he was a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and had converted to another form of Islam, another area of Islam. And he said to us, and bring shades. So I'm like, I at that point, I didn't even want to wear glasses, let alone some shades, because I'm proud of this glow I got, right?
I know that's right.
Because if you look a man in the face, he'll think that you are a prostitute. So for months, I had to practice not that stare. You know, as Black women in America, I'm going to stare you straight up, because if you're coming for me, I'm going to come for you first. But the whole shift, and Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us not to stare men in their face, but not even that casual look up for security. So the whole shift is really in a world where the woman is insecure. So again, no matter where we are, Sister Sajdah, we have to take what he gave us and know that he protects us, because he's making a whole new world that has to be focused on the protection of us. Mm-hmm. And so just because you're old Islam in the East or wherever, they don't have a framework to understand who we are. And it's okay, because Allah is just now making us in the last 90 years. Mm-hmm. So how you represent yourself, you're very successful because he is in your mind. Mm-hmm. And he'll guide you into places we haven't even been. Sister Sajdah, you're brand new. You're a pioneer in this area of being in these different sets and introducing them to the woman that is with Master Farad Muhammad. Sister Ava was a pioneer.
Absolutely.
You know, Sister Captain Naima is a pioneer. And we got Mother Farrakhan. And the minister tells us they had her up in some hot place saying prayer. He said, oh, no, this is not the standard. But look at how she caused a revolution just by saying, I'm not going to accept this low standard. So in anything we do professionally, we have to set the standard. It's unfortunate, but it's a fortunate opportunity that we can set the standard so that the young sisters behind us, and we see them now, they're trailblazing. They're moving fast. They're not accepting anything less than God. Mm-hmm. Anything less than God.
That prayer piece, I remember that story from Mother Khadijah, and it happened to me. Because I was with some business people in Africa, and we went to prayer. And when they went up in the mosque, the women was over here in the dirt, and I was standing there going, well, I ain't even got no dirt ready clothes on. I don't roll like that. You see me, I don't care where I'm at, I'm gonna be sparkling and flowing most of the time. So it's Africa. I'm not trying to get this dirt, it's already hot. And then somebody said, well, you can put this hijab on. And I said, but I still ain't dirt ready. And so I literally stood there and started having a mental conversation with Allah. So I don't know how you're going to get me out of this, but I can't get down in the dirt. And as it turned out, the business people that I was with, they came back. When I was having the prayer, I had my head down like this. When I looked up, I saw them walking towards me. And they said, well, we just decided that we don't want to leave you back here.
Praise be to Allah. He works out always.
I was going to ask you a question. I'd like to ask you a question. I've spent a number of years. My primary business partner in the healthcare space is Dr. Jeffrey Darmu. He's triple fellowship trained, double board certified, phenomenal surgeon. He knows how to allow Allah to flow through him. And I literally have watched him in the operating room, and I've watched Allah take over. And so I'm saying all of that to say, in terms of his talent, the number of people that he saves, you would think that, you know, they would celebrate him in that industry and in that setting. And in fact about it, we're now working on his sort of an biographical, that's what I'm trying to say, movie that just talks about some of his vicissitudes as a surgeon and the number of attacks that he would get as a result of trying to save Black people and help and give us access to healthcare and defy the systemic biases is really shocking. And I know that a lot of people don't really know, especially on the level of surgeons, because we have a lot of us that are doctors on that level of surgeons where the real big money is. They don't want you to be pro-Black. And so I know that this exists in other professions. What types of challenges have you had as an attorney, and what have you done to overcome them?
Well, this is an excellent question. I think it's a good question for me to say to those who may be listening who want to be something other than, you know, you have a goal in your mind and you want to accomplish it. I'm thankful to Allah for my parents who picked cotton. Both of my parents started picking cotton at the age of 2.
Really?
And it was not until I really read Secret Relationships Between Blacks and Jews Part 3, where I could really appreciate that visual. And I love how you started out, emotionalize it.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing my mother as a 2-year-old with a sack on her back, pulling through the pricks, and then competing with her other sisters and brothers as a 2-year-old to make sure her sack was full. Right? And nobody thought that was wrong, that was wrong. So that kind of spirit.
Were they sharecroppers, Yolanda? Where was this?
Sharecroppers in Mississippi.
Okay, got it.
And most of the wealth from this country comes from the Mississippi cotton, particularly banking institutions. So when you see that in your mind, you can see the generations of war in our families, right? So my parents they never wanted that kind of experience for me. They always told me education, education, education. And my father was something like Serena and Venus's father, where he wasn't a Rhodes Scholar. He went to the 3rd grade, right? But he always made sure I read. I couldn't go outside in the summer and frolic. No bike riding, none of that. You're going to read, you're going to learn words. My mother always gave me dictionaries from all over the world. And so I never knew that I had something that they were putting in me that may propel me forward. I just always was able to be in, graduate grammar school. My first opportunity was at 11 years old. My mother said, no, she can't go to high school. She's too young. And then coming out of high school, my first opportunity was at 15. And my mother made me stay in Lindblom a whole nother year and a half just to be hanging out because she was afraid for me to be in college as a teen.
Because of social intelligence issues. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I was nowhere near, I wasn't socially intelligent at all because I had been in this insular box, right? I get to law school and I started in a program called CLEO, Council on Legal Education Opportunity, where they take you to a school in the summer and it's like for Black and Hispanic, they're fast tracking you to give you a leg up for that first year.
Okay.
That year they sent us to Valparaiso University because at that point, Valparaiso didn't have any minorities in their law school.
And they barely, right?
Yes. And they barely had any minorities in their town.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know anything. So I go there, but now I've had this program. I'm excellent. I'm coming in. These Black people have prepared us for this first year. And so we're doing fabulous, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first semester, all the Black students who were in the program, all A's. And that's unheard of in law school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sorry, I forgot to turn this phone off.
Okay. We know you're an attorney. We know people looking.
Look, it's girl, it's my mom.
Tell mama to tune in.
Right. That's probably what she's doing. Like, you're telling my business about our family. And so what happened was when they announced that, the Klan came after us. And so
that's why I wanted to point out it was Indiana, because I already knew.
Yeah, and it's Valparaiso, which is the home of the Klan. Most people didn't know that.
That's right.
And so, you think us, the Klan, what they gonna do? They literally, and at the same time, I was coming in the nation. I was in processing class in the nation. Mm-hmm. So when something is happening in your mind over here to the reality of God, and then something is, because law school is a programming, it's a training you how to think. Mm-hmm. So the Klan was coming, and they were, all kind of shenanigans, fights, keying up your car, condoms on your doorknob, coming in your apartment, to the point where I had to begin to have security. And so my dad and a brother who I was engaged with at the time would stay overnight. And so my mother was saying, again, because she came up in that, girl, that ain't nothing. You only got another year or two. You can get in and get out of that. But I couldn't navigate it. Because,
and that was what year was that, Yolanda? Because I want people to understand how recent that was.
This was in the 90s. This was in the 90s.
That's right.
90, 91, 92. Mm-hmm. And so one day my dad says, Pokey, that's my, we had these nicknames. Is that you in the kitchen? I said, no, Dad, I thought it was you in the kitchen. And they're in my apartment in full regalia. Nigga, get out of here. And so by this time I had lost hair. They were everywhere in your classroom and your instructors. And so I said, well,
they terrorized you.
Right. And if the thing that kept me sane was when I came out, I fully immersed myself into the nation, mm-hmm. because I was going on a weekend once a month. I fully immersed myself. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad saying this is their nature is the only thing that stopped me from going ballistic. Mm-hmm. And people think it's the opposite, mm-hmm. but really it's a calming effect, because now you know what the playing field is. And so I said, well, it's not meant for me to be an attorney. I'm going to do something else. And in 94, I moved to Cleveland, and I was in the mosque there because I had given up, because I can do something else, right? Mm-hmm. And so the Final Call, the brothers were selling the Final Call newspaper in Cleveland, and the police would stop them, give them tickets, and it ended up being the ACLU took on the case. And so the minister there, he knew I had been in law school, and he said to the gentleman that was running the ACLU, we got a sister here who can help you with this legal stuff. And so they inserted me into the case, and the case went all the way to the Supreme Court. And this revived my desire, mm-hmm. in a way, to fight for my nation. Mm-hmm. So I had to start law school all over again, mm-hmm. from the very beginning, as if I knew nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, Allah's guiding it. I had been trying to apply for this law school for Cleveland Marshall for over a year and getting no response. But when the man from the ACLU called the law school, 2 days later, I was accepted. Mm. So I said, okay, this is Allah working the hand, still not really fully engaged in what he was giving me, right? Mm-hmm. So I came out of law school, I had a baby, and my son will go to school with me. It's that kind of thing for Black women, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I came out, it's time for me to take the bar exam. And Sister Sajdah, I didn't even know what the hell a bar exam was. I had been in law school that whole time and never knew at the end of this process, you're going to take an exam. And that's how you really become a lawyer. Mm-hmm. So I'm clueless as to what to do, because everybody in my family, we didn't have any attorneys at that time in the family. And unfortunately, you don't have a lot of Black role models that reach out to you. You got to know about them to get in that circle, and I wasn't in that circle.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time I go to apply for the bar, you have this character in fitness, and they send the application off to my college. Right now, I got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree from this university in Illinois.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you only need a bachelor's to be in law school. And I have now completed law school. And the Ohio Supreme Court says, you have a character and fitness challenge because we can't verify your master's degree. I'm saying, what? But now in 6 weeks, I'm supposed to be taking this bar exam, and I don't even know if I can sit for the bar exam. I haven't been doing any studying because I'm going back and forth with this college. Like, what are y'all talking about? I paid for this degree. Finally, 2 weeks before the exam, they say, all right, we got enough information to see that you really took the master's. I didn't even need a master's but to stall me like that. And I didn't have enough sense to know you were supposed to be studying this whole time. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, I'm Yolanda, I'm a G, I'm gonna walk in here, I'm gonna do it. Flunked it. Cold hard Medina, flunked it. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, maybe Allah's saying this ain't for me. Not thinking this is not how Allah works. He's showing you something. He's showing you the fight that you must have. Mm-hmm. And so the next time I took it, I had a baby. I was 9 months pregnant. I took the test and had my baby. I started contractions the second day of the test. Still, that's ego. What ego makes you take a test when you're 9 months pregnant, right? So Allah was showing me something. And so then I just said, well, this is not for me. I went in and worked at the American Bar Association. And then I began to produce courses for lawyers all around the country in 57 different specialties of law. And I'm training lawyers and putting together the resources to produce all over the world, really, because I've been in a lot of countries with these same classes. Mm-hmm. And Allah is allowing me to learn at the granular level about all these different types of law, right? And so I said, okay, and people will come and say, Yolanda, you really should take that bar exam again. I'm like, I'm not doing that because I got this negative energy in my head.
Yeah. Can't do it. And the ego's caught up now.
It's caught up. It's so caught up. And now we're 19 years after the fact. Who does this? But my husband, even though I was courting him, I was liking him at the time. And I liked Sultan so much. And I'm thinking, I'm cute. I'm going to get in the car. He's transporting me to the airport. I'm going to blow this man's mind, right? And he like, sister, when you going to take that test again? I'm like, if this nigga asks me about this test one more time, I'm like, don't ask me about that test. Mm-hmm. And the next time I see I got my hair cute, I got my perfume on, mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, I got him this time. And he said, sister, when are you going to go and take that test? And so as I'm traveling, I'm moving 16 to 18 times a year doing these conferences around the world. Every time, because he had a transportation service at this time, some kind of way he get back to this test. So I said, okay, Allah, I hear you. I hear you. This man I like, but you're not allowing the like to happen. He's meant to show me about this test. So I register, I take the test, I pass, right? And instantly I hit the ground running. I never go into anybody's firm. And my desire was, I am going to work for the believers. But while I'm training for the test, people keep coming in, other lawyers. You know, if you don't pass the test 2 or 3 years after law school, it's not unheard of. This is 19 years later. And I went in that test and I called one of the sisters after I took the test. She said, how you think you did? I said, girl, I think I did well. I feel skinny. Right? Just went through it. And then, of course, that's the same year that Illinois decided not to give people scores. I don't care what the score was. Allah blessed me to take it. But it allowed me to have a very intimate experience that know what our children, what our people, period, go through when they're trying to achieve something. And so I have always been this person who says, look, you want to get in college, you want to get in law school, I'm going to help you. Here's what you got to do. And there are people all around the country who I've assisted in that way. But we have to stay steadfast. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Who would have thought 19 years later, after I've raised all my children, after I've been in corporate America, been all over the world, dealt with every kind of lawyer there is, who would have thought 19 years later, I'd be sitting in a seat where now I can do something with all this stuff that's in my head. So I'm thankful, but it's never going to be easy. And back to Sister Ava, her daughter said during the ceremony, her mother told her from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, there's a difficulty factor in everything
you do.
In everything you do. And my mother would say the same to me, baby, anything worth having is not easy to get. And I can remember, just the final point on that, one time I took the test and I thought I studied really hard, right? And I was in a hotel. I just knew Allah was giving it to me then. And I was in Las Vegas, and I can't think of this man's name. He has this beautiful hotel, him and his wife next to each other, Caucasian. But the suite was amazing. And so I know, oh, Allah done put me in this nice suite to celebrate. I won. Ooh, I'm good. I done went to the spa. And I say, I know he's going to give it to me because I'm his. And so my team, who's going to work with me to make the call and listen, and they say that nobody's available. So I got to open the email up and see the score. And I flunked. And what they did was, at that time, Illinois would regrade you. If you're 2 or 3 points off, they regrade your test, and they flunked me. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, Master Farad Muhammad, why you? And then I couldn't breathe. He said, calm yourself down, sister. I got this. We have to know that he has us, and he does it in his own good time. And I can see now I'm more vested in knowing what to do in a way that allowed me the best education possible by the best, because American Bar Association attracts the brightest and the best in any field, right? And I'm with these people and getting all of their knowledge at a very intimate level for the purpose of solving the problems of the people that Allah presents me with, you know.
So would you say that as you're going through this, that as you began to dissolve your ego, like you took some blows that probably would not have been blows if your ego wasn't involved, because we all been there. And sometimes those of us that are spiritual or religious, whether it be Muslims, Christians, Jehovah's Witnesses, or whatever, we tend to be a little pious and a little stoic.
Yes.
And so we feel a little entitled.
Absolutely.
We feel like we're the chosen. And
I didn't feel a little entitled, Sister Sajdah. I felt totally entitled.
Okay, full-blown entitlement. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But then as we begin to he puts us through something that forces us to dissolve that ego. And the reason why that's important is something that I was studying this morning, is because when you become a strategist, and as you're strategizing, you hear the minister talking about how the messenger said that they set a lot of plots and plans against him, and he passed and tripped them up every single time. The messenger also said of the minister that he would get us across on the other side on his shoulders, and he wouldn't say, look at what I have done, look at what Allah has done. So that talks about his humility and how he is not operating from an egoic standpoint. And so I think that lesson of what you just taught us through your testimony is about how we got to work on our ego, because otherwise we really can't hear the messages of Allah, or if we hear them, they're coming through a filter that is our ego. And that ego, what did Dr. Wayne Dyer say? It edges God out.
It edges God out every time.
It's edging God out. God's trying to tell you, go this direction, do this, do that, but you want to do it the way you want to do it. And so either he has to hit us with a brick upside our head and make us drop the ego, or we drop it through just our frustration and not being able to trudge forward. So I think it's a very powerful lesson.
And Sister Sajdah, I want to add this that I just thought about than what you said. For me and for most of us, the ego is based in low self-esteem because we've been told that we are nothing. And it's very difficult to balance what we know now as Black brilliance. Not because we just better than somebody, but because I'm looking at my mother, she picked cotton at 2. If a child been doing hard labor since the age of 2, no roadblock is going to stop that person. To the outside person looking in, you think she just was born brilliant. No, she was trained brilliant, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you look at that as the life of our people, and particularly our children as Muslims, it's chemical. They die eating pig. They have good diets. Their mind is free, and they're in safe environments to grow. So when they compare themselves, back to that stunting on your sister, to other people, they fill up here. Nothing tells them that there is an enemy on the other side plotting on you. So I didn't think much of myself. I thought much of my ability to navigate, which is a false positive, because most of that navigation, you learned it from the Caucasian anyway, right? In his schools or whatever. So because I didn't think anything of myself, I wasn't looking for an enemy. I just thought I can walk in and take a test or do whatever. So we have to begin to highlight it for our people, which I love that you do. I love that you do that. Alhamdulillah. You tell, here's the snare. Here's the obvious snare. We don't even see the obvious. Back to Sister Ava saying, don't allow your people to make you teach law in the hallway, because that's a snare. It's no privacy. It's no, we don't even know we should demand anything. We don't even know that we have an enemy listening to us, plotting on us. And we don't know that we have a God that is saving us because we're not submitting. So I didn't think anything of myself. I didn't think somebody will flunk me.
Yeah. You know what? Because the ego is a tricky thing, because the ego just wants attention. It wants to be special, especially good or especially bad. So even when a person has low self-esteem, you're right, that's ego too. Because they may say, well, you see how sick I am. And then you say, you know what? I was sick yesterday. No, but you weren't sick as me.
Right.
Right. Or somebody see you with a nice, pink outfit on. It's like, I mean, that's all right. But wait till you see my pink.
Right.
So the ego gets us all caught up, because I think I played this on Saturday. We're in our reptilian mind. It's all about how something makes us feel. And so once we get into this thinking, these higher vibrational planes of thinking, where we remove the ego. So the challenge is, don't respond using your ego. Well, what is that? That's all about awareness. That's emotional intelligence. And that's why I talk about set the emotional die first and then chase the high. Because if you're down here with this plan, I don't care if you got a written plan. If you're just responding emotionally to every single thing, good or bad, that ego is going to come up there, because you might feel like, look, I'm in the hospital, I'm sick. I know I'm going to get the most attention out of any other person at my job or in my hospital. But then next thing you know, you don't get it. Well, that's ego.
Absolutely.
Most people associate that with ego because they say, well, how could you make yourself sick and let that be all about ego? It's absolutely about ego.
It absolutely is. I see that we're winding in time. I just want to mention one thing before I lose the time. I am producing, by Allah's help and will, a set of podcasts that helps us to navigate in various areas. The area that I'm in now is real estate. I started in bankruptcy, which I'm going back to. But
so that's your focus as an attorney, which is real estate.
Well, my area of I'm a general practitioner, and my area of focus is what we need. There are some areas I don't do. I don't do divorce. I don't do child custody. I don't do those things that, I don't do criminal law. Mm-hmm. However, I make money being a real estate attorney, and I make money doing estate planning, right?
Okay.
But in real estate, we are so because we don't have any information, the wealth of the country is riding on the back of poor through real estate. And it's about the data, it's about the information. And I learned that just on the south side of Chicago alone, the percentage of homes that were sold in the south side of Chicago, 75% was sold by investors. People who are not vested in our community at all. And of that 75, it's really like 77.3% of homes sold by investors on the south side of Chicago, just the south side. Most of them didn't get permits and it's substandard. So you think about when I, as a poor mother or a family moving into that house with that 30-year mortgage on an overpriced property, and now I'm going to be making repairs for 25 of those 30 years. It's a game, it's a data game that we can't win because there's no integrity in the building. There's no integrity in the sale. The real estate agent just wants to get their money. There's no integrity in the defense. And so something has to happen. I can't be everybody's real estate attorney, but I do have a desire to inform people when you're going into this landmine of a trap, there's things that you need to know. So I like people to go to the website. Some of the courses are definitely free that are already there, but there will be, courses with checklists and different things that can be done. And in various areas of the law, because we pay too much money for legal services. I really believe that. And I'm not a fan of legal, when you pay the $25 a month. I can't think
like legal force or legal aid or.
Right. I'm not a fan of that. Prepaid legal.
I see. I'm
not a fan of prepaid legal, but I do think we pay too much for legal services. And if we had the information, we could navigate ourselves into an area where we can make an attorney or my representative in whatever field I'm in represent me better. And that's really the goal of the law office of Yolanda Muhammad. It's an education piece so that this enemy doesn't keep killing us at the base level. We can never get past just owning a home for 30 years because we're struggling from day one to get into the house until year 30. And then sometimes we die at year 25 and it's not even anything that our family can inherit. They take that same house back from us because we go into foreclosure and then resell that same asset in the same condition to another one of us for that same dang on money. So
repeat.
And meanwhile, these banking institutions who have the information, who have the numbers, who have the statistics, know that they can continue this perpetual cycle on for another 40, 50 years if we don't stop it. And so my goal and my desire is where we can, we have to educate our people to stop it.
I think that this show evolved perfectly because we started talking about ego, and oftentimes what prevents us from utilizing services, whether it's services like the ones that I offer to help people get their businesses up and going, and realizing that you need a consultant, you need a coach, you need somebody who's already bought and paid for this experience, or whether it's things like, showing you how to purchase a property, get the checklist, talk to somebody who's got your best interests at heart. Oftentimes we don't do that because it's ego.
And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us a standard and a code of conduct that revolutionizes anything that we're involved in. And our people are so, I don't even advertise because our people are so overwhelmed with how we treat them as if we're looking at God. They're not expecting it, which is horrible, that we're not expecting good treatment. We're not even expecting to understand. All we want to know is bring the money, pay the earnest money, pay for this stuff, sign, get the keys. We don't have any concept that there is a whole field of things in between there that you definitely need to know. And unfortunately, we don't find out. Like I didn't find out there was a bar exam until the 2 weeks before I got to take it. We don't even find out that there's all this stuff in between until we get into a foreclosure situation and we don't know the rules of the game. So I want to applaud you for this program and for all the things that I know behind the scenes that you are doing. Some I know, some I don't know. But I love, love, love this effort. And I'm very thankful that you allowed me to be on the program today.
All praises due to Allah. Thank you, Sister Yolanda. Yolanda, tell us about how much the program is, or should they just go to YolandaMuhammad.com? Is there any kind of instructions you want to give them?
Sure. So definitely you can go to YolandaMuhammad.com. My brilliant brother, Kerry, who is a digital master, marketing master, is helping me to pretty up and put the course in a way where my people can purchase it. It's going to be $19.95 for the checklist. We'll do one every month, right? Because it's new, I'm launching it. The first product will be up next. The first paid product will be up next Wednesday. And we're going to do some Facebook ads and different things. But there's some good information at the website, even if you don't buy something, because the goal is not, I'm not money driven in that way. I do want to make a living for myself, of course, so I can keep buying garments and earrings.
I know that's right.
But I really want the information out there, you know. So for every paid program we do 2 free programs as well. And we always have information on the site. And I see that you have it up. It's YolandaMuhammad.com. And feel free to call me. You know, even if you're in another state, information is information. And information is very powerful.
What's your phone number, Sister Yolanda?
It's 773-563-0746. And if you don't want to call, my email is YolandaMuhammad@outlook.com.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate everything you're doing. I'm working on a couple of projects. I'm gonna reach out to you.
Please.
Yeah, definitely. I'm all about creating these opportunities where we can work together.
Yes, ma'am.
And you know, really supporting our ecosystem. And so I'll reach out to you. I'm probably about 4 weeks from launching this new business. So I'll reach out to you so we can talk about it, because I definitely want to make sure you're involved.
Oh, thank you very much. And just as a shout out from our nation, thank you so much for what you're doing with the Sajdah House. We appreciate that you're taking it to that level, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad deserves to be remembered into the eons of time. And he will be. He will be.
He really does. We have to, I just want to do my part to lift his name. You know, and I think it's so important that we don't forget. And I'll say this one last thing, because this is something we can talk about. I was mentioning that he gave me a gift of learning how to orient people to him. And so there are people who will be around me and they will say, wow, you know, they'll see the respect levels for him, whether it's a white person, a Black person of another faith, Hispanic, Asian, because I've learned to orient people to him in a way that it softens them beyond the media presence. And so, inshallah, the goal of this house is to even teach people and orient them even further. And I don't seek, I'm not a person who is intoxicated with attention from us. So, you know, my goal is to be that fisher woman and to orient people to him. And I love him just that much. And to be able to see him make material changes right before your very eyes, there's nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
There's nothing like it.
Nothing at all like it.
Nothing. So thank you so much for being on the show today. Please give Brother Sultan the greetings for me.
I will.
And your family. And I know we will get together soon, inshallah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. All right, y'all. I told y'all it was going to be epic. You've been tuned into the Mind of an Entrepreneur show. And that was my sister attorney, Yolanda Muhammad. And you see that beautiful journey. This is why I say that this emerging market deserves your attention, because when you perfect greatness by overcoming insurmountable obstacles, When you hire people like us, when you buy from people like us, you are really looking at a tried and proven professional in that industry. You're looking at somebody who's supernatural on a whole nother level, And I just think that there's more and more and more to Black people, and we're so diverse. And so this is one of the diverse pockets of us that is international, and that's the Black Muslim businesses. So, all right, you all heard my sister talk about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, which is now listed on the National Historic Registry. You see going across the screen here, it says to support the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, go to SajdahHouseDonations.com. You can go there to make a donation. Y'all know I tell y'all, don't chip and dip me. If you got anything out of today's conversation that you know you wouldn't have had to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to a coach or a consultant for, then give a few dollars to Muhammad, okay? Go to SajdahHouseDonations.com. If you want that commemorative Elijah coin, we have these commemorative Elijah coins, the graded ones. These are the ones that are going to probably appreciate the most in value. They have their own individual number here that you will be able to use for membership purposes to the house, which we're going to be announcing soon. That's the graded coin. We have a few of these commemorative coins. We had free chains. We are out of the free chains. So now we have the commemorative coin pendants. I say get both because I just love wearing this. I love copper because I love the way it absorbs energy. And then once you clean it, I like seeing how fast it's cleansing your aura and all of that kind of stuff. But get your commemorative Elijah coin. These are made from, listen to me well, this is recycled copper. It's made of the old copper that was taken down from the home of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at 4847 South Woodlawn. So we didn't throw anything away. And the idea came to me because I was blessed to be in a conversation one day with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he repeated something that he said often, and that is that he was walking down the driveway with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad pointed to a tree and said, one day when they find out who I am, they're going to rip the bark off the trees. And I thought to myself, that's not all of the quote, but that part of the quote is what struck me. I said, well, we're going to start recycling everything that he touched. This copper is a piece of metal through which the energy that flowed to and from him came through. So I started seeing, it's interesting because as I started to meditate on it, I started seeing this. Somebody asked for the Cash App. Let me put it back up here. I started seeing this football type of energy flow. It was shaped like a football of energy flowing from the messenger, through the copper, through the brick, out into the universe and back and around and round. And I said, this stuff is so valuable that if people don't buy this up, you got to be crazy. And plus it's historical and it's going to appreciate. I have a coin collection that I got from my dad that has appreciated. So coin collecting is a very popular hobby and profession. I put the Cash App up. Brother Otis is going across the bottom of the screen. It's $Mo Today, MOETODAY. And before we go, I'm going to give you the information to join the mailing list. All you got to do is text Do For Self to 855-574-9099. Get your commemorative Elijah coin. I promise you, when these are all gone, and I'm looking at y'all going, there's no more. It's gonna, you're gonna feel it. You're not gonna be happy with yourself. All right, family. So peace and blessings. Let me give y'all one more time this beautiful commercial. And for the few of these pendants, the very few of these pendants that we actually have left, I actually took the link down from the bio and stuff on Instagram. You'll see it tagged on some of the postings because there's not that many left. So we're going to go out here and fulfill orders today. So if you want to get your coin, go ahead on and put your order in SajdahHouseDonations.com to make a donation, but SajdahHouse.com to get your commemorative Elijah coin. All right. Peace and blessings, family.